All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Good as a Concert, our October event. Still October, isn't it? Yeah. My name is Jim Payne. I'm delighted to be able to welcome you here this evening. As you can see, we have four guest singers in place here. Before I introduce them all to you, and basically, if you've been here before, you kind of know the way we do things. We just kind of take turns singing songs. So I'll host the first half and interject a song. Eleanor Dawson will host the second half. And this is really a production between the Research Center for the Study of Music, Media, and Place, which is I guess I always describe it as the ethnomusicology division of the School of Music here on campus, between so at MMaP, Eleanor, and myself and my record label, SingSong Incorporated. So we've kind of, come right in, don't be shy. Lots of room. So we started this little operation really to sort of give a place for singers of traditional ballads and some of the rarely heard songs that are part of our Newfoundland and Labrador song repertoire, a place for them to be heard, a place for singers to be able to sing them, and people who enjoy listening to that sort of stuff to be able to hear it. Recognizing, of course, that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's there it is. So I'm going to start over at the end here with Catherine Wright, who's a storyteller, multi-arts practitioner and arts educator who divides her time between St. John's and Port Curwen on the southern shore. Interweaving movement, songs, and recitations into her storytelling, Catherine has presented a broad range of stories at schools, festivals, community venues, and online in her over 30 years of performance experience. Her newest show is Shrouds and Stays, the Ballad of Jane Wright, a true shipwreck story centered around her great-great-grandmother. She is past president of St. John's Storytelling and the current provincial representative for Storytellers of Canada, since Catherine Wright down at the very end. Next to Catherine there is Graham Wells, a Newfoundland and Irish traditional singer and multi-instrumentalist from St. John's. Graham was one of the 5 founding members of the acclaimed traditional group A Crowd of Bold Sherman, recording and co-arranging a seminal album of Newfoundland traditional music. Shortly thereafter, Graham joined the Juno Award-winning band The Irish Descendants and performed with them for the next 7 years. He then embarked on a solo career in 2008, and in 2010 founded Féile Seamus Cray, which some of you might have attended, a festival of traditional Irish and Newfoundland song, music, and dance, now in its 14th year. Congratulations on that, Graham, by the way. Woo-hoo. Graham Wells. Taking center stage here tonight, Pamela Morgan, for 19 years, was lead singer, guitarist, and arranger for Canada's pioneering Celtic band, Newfoundland's Figgy Duff, who brought the traditional music of Newfoundland and Labrador to the world stage. Since then, Pamela has spearheaded her own independent record label, Amber Music, producing music for some of Newfoundland and Labrador's most iconic roots artists, as well as 4 of her own solo CDs. Performing across Canada, the USA, and Europe, she has also composed several works for live theatre, including the White Fleet Suite, Pamela, which is on, by the way, on the 9th of November, isn't it? 8th of November, which I think is next 2 weeks from last night. Got it, right. Pamela has also received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Arts Society and the ECMA Stomp and Tom Award. And this isn't on her bio, but I will also say that Pamela was a key member, really, of the group, of the general group of artists in this province and around the city who really contributed a lot to the revival of interest in Newfoundland traditional music and song in particular, not just by going out and singing and recording them, but doing the hard slog of getting out around the province and finding a lot of traditional singers and learning and collecting songs from them. So, and that, of course, is very much in line with what this whole organization, the Good as a Concert, is all about. So we're really, really pleased to have Pamela with us here tonight. And yeah. And finally, sitting next to me here, born and raised in Portugal Cove, Maria Peddle has been playing and singing folk music since she was small, it says.
Bios.
Yeah.
Writing bios, not my
Me too. Getting her start with the Celtic Fiddlers under the endlessly supportive Corona Brophy, she has grown up in the St. John's music scene, and for that is so grateful. From the Freels to the Burning Hell and many more along the way, she's proud to be still making music with friends, and she's very well known in the traditional, for the fans of traditional music in the province, really, especially from that album you guys did with the Freels, because that was a brilliant album and sounded great. So, do you want to start?
Should I? Okay.
So I'm going to ask Maria to kick it off here for us this evening. And thank you all very much for coming.
All right. Well, I'm also very, very grateful to be here. Jim called me. When you get a call from Jim Payne, I feel like, what do? I was like, I haven't sang traditional music in a while. The Freels disbanded, I suppose. Everyone went to the mainland to follow their careers and get a job at all, I guess. When I was in my early, 10 years ago, probably. And since then, I've been doing a lot of other things, some rock and roll, who knows what else. So I feel like I've been floating away from the traditional music a little bit, so I was really glad that you texted or called me.
Welcome back.
So I can, so I got a little bit of the rust off, so see how well the rust came off now. So I wanted to do some songs that were in the theme. My repertoire wasn't huge. And I went around asking some friends and family about songs they knew that were autumnal. And my Aunt Georgie, who is a really beautiful singer as well, her dad is from Scotland, and she told me about this song called The Rowan Tree, which is about the dogberry tree. And apparently the Celts, the ancient Celts, or Celts, depending on who you ask, I suppose, used to plant them around their house to ward off evil and illness and dark spirits and whatever else. And so this is a beautiful song, I think, just paying homage to the rowan tree. And there is a lot of the version I learned, there is a lot of little, like, Scottish words that I changed slightly to sound like I wasn't trying to sound Scottish. So some of them may have still been in there, so we'll see how it goes now. Oh, rowan tree, thou'lt aye be dear to me. Entwined thou art with many ties, O hame and infancy. Thy leaves were aye the first of spring, thy flowers the summer's pride. There was nae sic a bonny tree in all the countryside. A rowan tree. How fair wert thou in summertime, with all thy clusters white. How rich and gay thy autumn dress, with berries red and bright. On thy fair stem were many names, which now no more I see. But they're engraven on my heart, forgot they ne'er could be. O rowan tree. We sat beneath thy spreading shade, the bairnies round thee ran. They put thy bonny berries red, and necklaces they strang. My mother, oh, I see her still. She smiled our sports to see, with little Jeannie on her lap and Jamie on her knee. Oh, rowan tree.
So when Eleanor asked me to do a concert for All Souls, I was racking my brains for all the old ghost songs and murder ballads I used to sing. And so I remembered this one. I learned it a long time ago from Peacock's collection, and he collected it on Fogo Island. And I used to know a great singer from Fogo Island, Mr. Philip Foley, and he sang a lot of very old, long story ballads, and he showed me the books from which he had gotten them, because a lot of those songs were passed down generation to generation, but at least on Fogo Island, I know from experience with Mr. Foley, they also made up tunes to poems they had read in books. And I suspect that that's where this one came from, because the words are quite flowery. So bold and a virgin so bright conversed as they sat on the plain. They gazed at each other with tender delight. Alonzo the Brave was the name of the knight, and the lady was fair Imogene. And now, says the youth, since tomorrow I go to fight in some far distant land, your tears for my absence soon ceasing to flow, some other will court you, and you will bestow on a wealthier suitor your hand. Hush, hush, these suspicions, fair Imogene cried, offensive to love and to me. For if you be living or if you be dead, I swear by the Virgin that none in your stead shall the husband of Imogene be. If by ire or by lust or by wealth led aside, forget my Alonzo the Brave, God grant that to punish my falsehood and pride, your ghost at my marriage should sit by my side. Tax me with perjury, claim me as a bride, and bear me away to the grave. Palestine hastened this hero so bold, his love she lamented him sore, but scarce had a 12-month elapsed when behold, a baron all covered with jewels and with gold arrived at fair Imogene's door. His treasures, his presents, his spacious domain, she made her untrue to her vows. She dazzled her eyes, he bewildered her brain. He caught her affection, so light and so vain, and carried her home as his spouse. And now had the marriage been blessed by the priest, the revelry now was begun. The tables they groaned with the weight of the feast, nor yet had their laughter or merriment ceased, when the bell at the castle tolled one. When to her amazement fair Imogene found a stranger was placed by her side. His ire was terrific, he uttered no sound. He spake not, he moved not, he turned not around, but earnestly gazed on the bride. His presence all bosoms appeared to dismay. The guests sat in silence and fear. At length spake the bride, while trembling, I pray, Sir Knight, that your helmet aside you would lay, and deign to partake of our cheer. The lady was was silent, the stranger complied. His visor he slowly unclosed. Great God, what a sight met fair Emma Jean's eyes. What words can express her dismay and surprise when a skeleton's head was exposed? All present then uttered a terrified shout and turned with disgust from the scene. The worms they crawled in and the worms they crawled out. They sported his eyes and his temples about, while the spectre addressed Imogene. Behold me, thou false one, behold me, he cried. Remember Alonzo the brave. God grant that to punish your falsehood and pride, my ghost at your marriage should sit by your side, tax you with perjury, claim you as a bride, and bear you away to the grave. So saying, his arms round the lady he wound, while loudly she shrieked in dismay, then sank with his prey through the wide yawning ground. Never again was fair Imogene found, nor the spectre that bore her away. Midnight 4 times in each year does her sprite, while mortals in slumber are bound, all arrayed in her bridal apparel of white, appears in the hall with the skeleton knight, and she shrieks as he whirls her around. While they drink out of skulls newly torn from the grave, dancing round them their spectres are seen. Their liquor is blood and this horrible stave. They drink to the health of Alonzo the brave and his consort, the fair Imogene. Thank you.
Graham, your turn.
Right. I'm going to sing a song that I've known for a long time. I'm not sure where I learned it, but it's a song that's found in almost all the kind of English song traditions. And this one is my kind of plucked together of all the little different version. And the air of it you'll recognize probably because it's been used for a lot of other traditional songs. It was originally called The Moon Behind the Hill. And I was listening to a recording of a singer called Joe Heaney and some American folklorist too and singer. I don't know if it was Gene Ritchie or Peggy Seeger or one of those kind of vintage of people. The recording was of them sat together singing this song to all kinds of different kind of melodies. And this is one of the ones they were kind of messing around with. And I really like it because even though it's kind of a major melody, there's something very kind of lonesome about it that always, I just feel like the song goes very well with it. So it's called Riley the Fisherman. As I roved out one morning fair down by a riverside, I heard a lovely maid complain the tears were in her eyes. It is a cold and stormy night, this fair maid she did say. My love is on the raging sea, bound for America. My love, he was a fisherman, his age was scarce 18. He was as fine a young man as ever yet was seen. My father, he had riches great, but Riley, he was poor. Because I loved a fisherman, they could not him endure. John Riley was my true love's name, near to the town of Bray. My mother took me by the hand, these words to me did say, if you be fond of Riley, let him quit this country. Your father means to take his life, so shun his company. Oh, mother dear, don't be severe, where will you send my love? His tender heart beats in his breast as constant as a dove. Oh, daughter dear, I'm not severe, here is £1,000. Send Riley to America to purchase there some ground. When Ellen got the money to Riley, she did run. This very night to take your life, my father's charged a gun. Here is £1,000 in gold my mother sends to you. You'll have my love and half my ring until I follow you. When Riley got the money, next morning sailed away. And as he put his foot on board, these words to him did say, here is my ring and half my heart, we'll break it now in two. And I will be there by your side until I find out you. It being 10 months after she waiting on the quay. When Riley he came back again, his love to bear away. The ship was lost, all hands were gone, her father grieveful sore, and found young Riley in her arms, they washed up on the shore. And on her breast there was a note, and it was wrote in blood. Saint Cruel was my father, who thought to kill my love. So let this be a message to all young lovers gay. Don't ever let the lad you love sail to America.
Yeah, I bet you're all ready for Halloween now, aren't you? Catherine mentioned the Peacock collection, and Pamela mentioned it as well. It's, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a 3-volume collection of Newfoundland songs collected by Kenneth Peacock between 1951 and 61. Likely the most comprehensive collection of Newfoundland folk songs ever compiled, really. It was, as I say, published under the auspices of the National Museum of Canada in three volumes, 517 songs altogether, with the music and lyrics and so on. So it's not in print anymore, but you can sometimes find it in libraries. It's at Centre for Newfoundland Studies, for example, would have it if you're interested in pursuing some of these songs. It's also available on a CD-ROM as well, but it's got some great songs. And I'll interject a song here now. There's certainly a version of this song in the Peacock collection. It's really become a boon to, say, folk singers of say, my generation, especially, perhaps, and younger generations as well, who are interested in these songs and can't really find, people who sing them anymore. But this one is another sort of ghostly kind of a song. It's I've heard it's probably an English ballad. I've heard versions of this certainly in England, where it's called "Cold Blow the Wind," There's versions in Newfoundland. I think the one in the Peacock collection is called The Unquiet Grave. And it's the story is really about a young woman who dies, and her lover is mourning around her grave. And the whole superstition was that you could mourn for 12 months and a day, but then it had to stop. If you mourned for any longer than that, you prevented the person who died from resting in peace, and they would come back to haunt you. So do we know anybody like that? Yeah. Anyway, it goes like this. Cold blow the wind tonight, my love. Cold blow me some drops of rain, for I only had but one true love, and in greenwood she was slain. For I can do as much for my true love as any young man can say. I'll sit and mourn all round her grave for a 12-month and a day. And when the 12-month and a day was past, her spirit began for to rise. Why do you mourn all round my grave? For you will not let me rest. Just one more kiss, love, from your sweet lips, and that is all I do crave. If I get one kiss from your sweet lips, then I will be gone from your grave. My lips are cold tonight, sweetheart. My breath, it smells earthy and strong. If you get one kiss from my sweet lips, your time, it won't be long. Go fetch me an egg from the billow so deep, or water from out of a stone, or the milk from out a fair maid's breast, where a fair maid haven't got none. Cold blow the wind tonight, my love. Cold blow me some drops of rain, for I only had but one true love, and in greenwood she was slain. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Maria.
I was gonna do that one,
Oh, really?
but you told me to prepare 6, so we're all good, and I think we're totally cool. And I like your version more anyway, actually. It was so much more dramatic. I feel like mine ended on a bit of a whatever version I found. So I'm gonna do one now, maybe a bit controversial, but it's an old-time song. And my friend Carol showed it to me. And I've been getting into old-time, like Appalachia music lately and playing it on the fiddle, and I do find, I love that stuff. And there's a deep, I don't know, I feel a deep kinship with the old time. We share the mountains, I don't know, there's something going on there. So this is also called The Blackest Crow. Crows, murder, spooky, Halloween. And it's also about your love leaving, and that is so sad, so spooky. When your love leaves you, come on, my God. Okay. As time draws near, my dearest dear, when you and I must part, how little you know of the grief and woe in my poor aching heart. Each night I suffer for your sake. Believe me, dear, it's true. I wish that you were staying here and I was going with you. I wish my breast were made of glass wherein you might behold. Upon my heart your name lies wrote in letters made of gold. In letters made of gold, my love, believe me when I say you are the darling of my heart until my dying day. The blackest crow that e'er did flew would surely turn to white if ever I prove false to you. Bright day would turn to night. Bright day would turn to night, my love. The elements would mourn if ever I prove false to you. The seas would rage and burn.
It's just before panel starts here, just it's kind of interesting you'd bring up the whole thing about the Appalachians because, you know, when you think about it, a lot of the songs, the people who settled down there are really people who came from the same places, the settlers, the early settlers that came to Newfoundland, really. And I think that was probably brought home to me one time. Myself and Fergus were playing at a festival down that way, and there was a group on the stage with us, two women playing, called the Lonesome Sisters, which I thought was a fantastic name for a duo, anyway. But and at one point they were singing a ballad that, you know, there's a Newfoundland version of, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, we're singing the same songs, really. And when I looked into it a bit more, I really found a lot of similar songs in the Newfoundland repertoire that would be old sort of English and Irish ballads. That's where they originated, and you find a lot of versions of it down there as well, which down there kind of gave rise to the early form of country music, for example, which was always my sort of theory as to why Newfoundlanders embraced country music, you know, when all that American country music was being piped into Newfoundland to the American bases here during the Second World War. So, you know, music has connections, the songs have connections all over the place, really, but I'll shut up now and let Pamela sing. It'd be much more interesting.
The Lonesome Sisters.
Yeah, that'd be great, eh?
They used to call me and Anita the Morbid Sisters.
Who told you that?
I knows my son. Nothing gets past me. And the other thing that was kind of rolling around in my head, and I can't quite say anything factually, but just I read years and years ago, I was fascinated by Robert Graves' The White Goddess and the alphabet of the trees, of which the Rowan was one. And the months were divided into lunar months, so there were 28 days. And the other thing that you just said about a year and a day is that there was one day left over. And that's where that expression came from. Anyway, just a bit of trivia. I have to revisit it. But this is another song that I don't often sing, and this seemed like an appropriate occasion. I learned this one from Mose Harris out in Lethbridge and Bonavista Bay many years ago. And I think it might be a short version of a longer story. And again, I don't know the whole story, but you know, sometimes it's okay not to know the whole story, just sort of have the impressions that you're left with. And sometimes these folk songs get compressed down to just the main sort of nitty gritty. Anyway, this is not a ghost story, not yet, but it could be. The continuation of this story would probably involve a ghost because it's a murder ballad. Said the Lord to his lady, I am going away. Beware of bold lambkin, he will lead you astray. I don't care about lambkin, nor no other man, for my doors are fast bolted, and he cannot get in. Oh, the lambkin came there about the middle of the night. He called on his jewel, his own heart's delight. Oh, where is your mistress? The lambkin, he did cry. She's in the top tower, the false nurse replied. Says the lambkin to the false nurse, how will I get her down? Says the false lambkin to the false nurse, hit the baby on the ground. I can't quiet your baby with breast milk nor pap. So I pray you, fair lady, come and daddle it on your lap. As the lady was coming down, not thinking no harm, the lambkin betrayed her, caught her by the arm. I've got you, I got you, the lambkin, he did cry. It's more to my sorrow, the poor lady replied. Come here, daughter Betsy, those words I will speak. Hold the silver basin, your heart's blood I'll take. Oh no, daughter Betsy, I pray stay alone. Try for to see your dear father come home. As Betsy was gazing the window so high, she saw her dear father a-riding close by. Oh, father, I pray don't blame me. 'Twas the false nurse and the lambkin betray your lady. There was blood in the kitchen, there was blood in the hall, there was blood on the cradle, it was the worst of all. Bold lambkin was hung on the gallows so high, and the false nurse was burned
I'm going to sing a song now called The Flying Cloud that I learned a long time ago and probably haven't sang for a long time. Well, definitely haven't sang for a long time. It's in the Peacock collection too, like most of this other stuff. And like Pam was saying, any traditional song you hear in the English language, there's almost certainly a version here of it. Our song canon is so fantastic. It's really remarkable. My copies of the Peacock collection, coincidentally, I got volumes 1 and 3 at a used bookstore in the Gander Mall. And volume 2 I stole from the Glucksman University UL when I was going there. But it's ironic because volume 2 I don't have anymore. I lived in the Caribbean and I managed to find myself back in Canada unexpectedly, and the book didn't make it. So I don't know if that was karma or what, but you can cut that bit out of the video and audio later just in case someone over there, my supervisor for my degree or something, is watching this down the road and I get a phone call.
The statute of limitations might not be...
12 years, I don't know.
12 years.
I was thinking that myself, yeah. But yeah, this song actually is funny because it goes from over there down to the Caribbean, and it's kind of like there's a couple of stories in one. It's a great old song, and I hope I remember it all. So here goes, The Flying Cloud. Oh, my name is Arthur Hollander, as you may understand. I was born in County Waterford, in Erin's lovely land. When I was young and in my prime, good fortune on me shone, and my parents doted over me, I been their only son. My father bound me to a trade in Waterford's fair town. I was prenticed to a cooper there by the name of William Brown. I served my master faithfully for 7 long years or more, till I shipped on board the Ocean Queen, convenient to Tremor. 'Twas in the island of Bermuda where I first met Captain Moore, the commander of the Flying Cloud. She's out of Baltimore. He asked me would I go with him a slaving voyage to go to the burning sands of Africa, where slaves do plenty go. Now the Flying Cloud was a clipper ship, 500 ton or more. She could outsail any clipper from the port of Baltimore, with her canvas white as the driven snow, and on it ne'er a speck, with 40 men and 14 guns that she carried below her deck. And after some weeks of sailing, we arrived off West Africa's shore, where 500 of those slaves, me boys, from their native land we tore. We marched them up the gangway and tied them down below, scarce 18 inches to a man, that was all they had to show. Then plague and fever came on board, sweeping half of them away. We dragged their bodies up on the deck and threw them in the sea. 'Twould be better for the rest of them if they all had died below, than to serve 'neath the cruel planters in Cuba forevermore. And after some days of sailing, we arrived off Havana's shore, where we sold them to the planters to be slaves forevermore. For the coffee and sugar cane to grow beneath the broiling sun, and to lead a cruel and wretched life until their career was done. And now our money, it is all gone, we must go to sea again. When Captain Moore came up on deck and said unto us men, There is gold and silver to be had if with me you remain. And we'll hoist the Jolly Roger, and we'll scour the Spanish Main. Now all of us remained on board. No, that's not it. Now all but 3 to 4 or 5 young men. No, I'm gonna have to listen it. So yeah, everyone stays except for 5 people. And 2 of them were Boston born and the rest from Newfoundland. How I wish to God I joined those men and went with them ashore, than to lead a wild and reckless life along with Captain Moore. And many's the ship we plundered down on the Spanish Main. We caused many's the widow and orphan in sorrow to remain. To the crew we gave no quarter, but gave them watery graves. For the saying of our captain was, dead men will tell no tales. And pursued we were by many's a craft, both navy and pirate too. Until a British man of war, the Douglas, she hove to. She fired a shot across our bow, we ran her on the wind. But when chain shot brought our mainmast down, 'twas we fell far behind. Our crew they beat to quarters as the Douglas hove alongside. And soon upon our quarter deck there ran a crimson tide. We fought till Captain Moore was killed and 13 other men. With the flying cloud a-blazing, oh, we had to surrender then. So now to Newgate we are brought, bound down in iron chains, for the plundering of ships, me boys, down on the Spanish Main. The judge, he's found us guilty, we're all condemned to die. Oh, all young men, listen well, be not as rash as I. So farewell to lovely Waterford and the girl that I adore. For I never again will hold you close or kiss your lips once more. For whiskey and bad company have made a wretch of me. Come all young men and listen well, and shun all piracy. It's a long old song.
Catherine, go ahead.
All right. So, so far we've had a lot of pretty mournful songs. And I think the poster said something about funny and frivolous, or I can't remember what the words were. There were a lot of F's. I remember that. Anyway, so we're going to go from the sublime to the ridiculous now. And I'm going to sing a song that is also in the Peacock collection, surprisingly. It's in the children's section, and in volume 1. And it will be a very familiar tune to everybody here. And I'm going to ask you to please help me sing when the repeat is. You'll understand as soon as I start. There's mention of a oyster can in this song. And I went, what exactly is an oyster can? So I had to Google. And an oyster can, if you think of like a can of paint, that kind of size with a metal handle, tin, that's sort of about what an oyster can looks like. And I guess people used to use them to collect their oysters in, presumably. Anyway, here we go. This is called Mary Had a William Goat. Mary had a William goat, William goat, William goat. Mary had a William goat, his stomach was lined with zinc. One day he ate a oyster can, oyster can, oyster can. One day he ate an oyster can and a kitchen sink. The oyster can was, the can was filled with dynamite, dynamite, dynamite. The can was filled with dynamite, which Billy thought was cheese. He rubbed against poor Mary's side, Mary's side, Mary's side. He rubbed against poor Mary's side, the awful pain to ease. A sudden flash of goat and girl, goat and girl, goat and girl. A sudden flash of goat and girl, and little else to tell. Mary's soul to heaven went, heaven went, heaven went. Mary's soul to heaven went, and Billy's went to hell. And now just to finish with a little chin music. Dum da da diddle deedle dum da da diddle da 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 dum da 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 dee dum diddle dum da da dum da diddle dee dee.